Like, who is she? Okay, enough. That's enough. Hello. We are talking about. What are we talking about? We are talking about conscious manifestation. Conscious manifestation, the law of assumption, the law of attraction, deliberate manifestation, whatever you want to call it, really. We're talking about that. So, I know that most people think that, manifestation is some sort of like, I don't know, some sort of magic trick. I mean, more people are, becoming aware of what it actually is, but usually some people, they think it's like, oh, what's that? Like, no, well, that's bad. You shouldn't be doing it. It's black magic. No, it's not. So, as conscious beings, we manifest anything and everything around us, or experiences. Everything is a manifestation, okay? It is a projection of your dominant beliefs. Should I say beliefs? It's a projection of your dominant assumptions. Your dominant assumptions, okay? So your subconscious, so it's always there, it's always listening. And what you dominantly assume to be true, of course, your subconscious picks up on that, and then it's, projected onto reality, the outer reality, the 3D, right? And so, yeah, everything is, well, a manifestation. And so, whether you believe in manifestation or not, you're still doing it. Yeah, so we are constantly manifesting, and mostly we do it unconsciously, right? But there's also deliberate manifestation, where you deliberately do it, right? Purposefully do it. You have techniques, you set your intentions. Maybe you like to visualize, maybe you like to, I don't know, listen to subliminals, whatever your technique is, or maybe you just like to assume, and you just, okay, I've assumed that this is what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna let it be. So yeah. So today I want to talk about how I personally do it. Now, it's different for everyone. Some like journaling, some like, doing like a bunch of affirmations, they like and they call those like the robotic affirmations or whatever. So it's different for everyone. You do you. I just want to share my personal technique. It's not really, it's just how I do it. How I like to look at it, my perspective, and how I go about it. So when I discovered this in like 2022, pretty recently, so first I came across the law of assumption, and I was like, ooh, nice. Like, okay, so I just assume, and I just persist. And yeah, it should happen. But then, I notice, the delay. And it seems like, why is kind of like the opposite happening? Why does this not seem to be working? Like, what's going on here? And it was the resistance, right? Resistance is a big thing. It's the biggest block. When you are resisting your... Should I, talk about, your shadow self? Okay, we're not going to get into the depths of that, but when you're resisting your negative emotions, the negative inner monologue, anything that comes up, these distracting thoughts, the spiraling, right? When you are pushing that down and suppressing it, it just comes back to haunt you. And so the more you resist the opposing thoughts, opposing assumptions, right? The more it persists, the more it grows. It's like you're growing this entity of bitterness and like this entity of crap. I don't know but yeah. So the more you suppress, the more it grows. And yes, it's beneath the surface, but it's, it's gonna come back to, haunt you. And so that suppression is never good. So, okay, let's say you're manifesting, oh, like, maybe you want to get a visa to go somewhere, whatever country, or you want to get your Japanese visa or something, I don't know. And, you're in the process of getting it, and there are hurdles, and you got this, like, you've got negative thoughts coming up, these doubts and your fears. And maybe you're going by the law of assumption and you're like, okay, well, no. Immediately no. Thoughts come up, no, push it down. You start worrying, feeling anxious, and you push it down, it just piles up. It's this whole mess beneath the surface, right? The more you do that, the more you give it power, to be honest, because like I said, that resistance, it's, you mustn't underestimate the resistance. And so a healthy way, I would say, to go about it is to acknowledge the thoughts. And you're probably like, no. Like, I can't, why acknowledge them? I'm gonna start creating, those negative stuff. Like, if I acknowledge them, then they'll manifest. No. Acknowledge them. It's fine. You can acknowledge the thoughts, the emotions, and not see them, not view them as a threat. They shouldn't be threatening. They're just thoughts, emotions. They always come up, and you just let them pass, right? They're like, the clouds, right? And you're the sky, They're just passing through. Let them pass. Be like, okay, I see you. I get it. Like, I see where you're coming from, but I'm choosing this path. So you can skedaddle. You know what I mean? So if you approach it that way, you release that resistance. And so that's how I deal with the negative emotions and the thoughts. That's how I deal with them. And so here's what I like to do. I set the intention. So the goal, whatever it may be, what the vision is, I set the intention. And so I become clear on that, what I want. And then I surrender to God, really. I just, I do my best every day, do what I can every day. But then, I just surrender it to God. That's the most important thing. At the end of the day, you surrender it to God, right? Pure light source energy, the creator of the universe, creator of all, the source of all, God. Yes, ma'am. So, yeah, that's what I like to do. That's how I go about it. So, an example, like I did this with my graduation. There were some issues. I mean, not really like big issues, but, this one subject, I was kind of struggling with it. And I was graduating at the time, and, I just held the vision. I was like, I didn't even have to, like, it's not like this process of, like, every day I do an affirmation or whatever. Maybe when, it comes up in my mind, I don't know, maybe I do an affirmation or something. Like, I just say, yeah, it's all taken care of, something like that. But, okay, for my graduation, I simply set the intention, like, I just said, you know what, it is done, it's really, I surrender it to God, and, yeah, I'm sure that everything's working out in my favor, and there's really nothing to worry about. I can just live my life, and let's just see how it goes. But the main intention is, I am graduating, and I know God is supporting me in that. So there's this, like, I know what I want, there's that intention, but I'm not gripping onto it so tightly, it's not like an end-all be-all sort of thing. It's not like life and death. No, it's just like, hey, so this is what I really like, this is what I'm choosing, this path of graduating, but also I'm like, I'm pretty chill, like, I'm just living my life, and I know that no matter what, everything is going to work out, right? Everything's gonna work out. in my favor. And so, yeah. And then eventually, there you go. I graduated, and there's that. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that. So that's my approach. So I don't really do. I have like general, like, what do you call them? Like the umbrella affirmations. I do general affirmations every day, almost every day. I mean, it's just, what really matters to me is having my nervous system be regulated. Like, that's my main priority. Regulating my nervous system so I can, so I can be confident in the assumptions, right, that I'm making, the intentions I'm setting. So, and you don't have to fully believe, you don't have to believe that your manifestation is going to happen. Like, this goal of yours, like when you're consciously manifesting, maybe you're pressured and you feel like you have to like fully believe that it is happening, and like, it's got to be like, I've got to be so sure and I can't waver and all of that. But that, again, that creates resistance. That creates resistance. So instead, you can just live your life. So you've already set the intention, you've planted the seed, and now you can live your life. And eventually it's just gonna be like, hello, I'm here now. Hello, I've arrived. And so, yeah. Like, as an example, like when you order something online, right? So you order, send out your order, and then you just, you don't, like, you're not there sitting, like, you're not at your front door just like waiting for your order, like, where is it, oh, a car passed by, could that be it? Yeah, you don't do that. You're just, you live your life. Oh, it's coming, and yeah, maybe there will be some problems, like maybe a delay, right? Maybe the arrival will be delayed, like, but you're just, you're living your life, and eventually there's your order, like, right? It gets delivered eventually. And so I take the same approach with conscious manifestation. And okay, inspired action. Look, it's a very natural thing. And sometimes people overthink the inspired action bit, like the bridge of incidents, is this it? Like, they overthink, like, situations they're in, and they're like, could this be it? Like, is this like an inspired action? Like, you don't have to overthink that. Like, it comes naturally. And it's more like this thing where you can just, like, look back and be like, oh, that's what it was. Like, oh, that's, like, inspired action, what I did there. So, yeah. So, you will naturally be drawn to, act on this, like, how do I say it? Like, you will naturally be drawn to move. Ooh, I'm kind of itchy. What's going on? Like, you'll be drawn to move, because everything is really, it's based on our energy and the frequency we're in, right? And when you are in alignment with the version of you who already has that certain desire, you naturally move as that version. You're drawn to do things that are, seemingly out of character, but really it's this new version of you that's, moving. Like, you've activated this new version of you, and so you'll find your way. You know what I mean? You'll find your way, and the how isn't really your job. It's not for you to figure out, like, the how part. I know we like to overthink, like, as humans, we like to have it all figured out, like, what's the solution, all of that, but really, it's not your job, That's God's job, the universe's job, and it's not yours to burden yourself with, It'll just come up naturally. okay? You'll think of solutions that'll come up in your head, and you don't have to overthink it. You don't have to force them. And so, yeah. That's just like, I just wanted to share that. And yeah. That's it, I guess. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you soon. Bye.